my One of my channel partners made a video last year warning pilots, mainly small aircraft, private aircraft pilots, and helicopter pilots, that high radiation amounts, electromagnetic, geomagnetic storms can blow a fuse. Immediately people started putting words into her mouth, saying that she was claiming that the sun can bring down a jetliner. And I'm privy to stuff that some people aren't, just based by personal contacts who work security in airports and talk about their in-services. And we were in-serviced, they say. We were in-serviced when a small plane at an international airport had a landing gear problem, and they had to pull out all the equipment. What did they say? They said a fuse blew in the locking pin on the Cessna. A 5-amp fuse disabled the landing gear. So during very high solar geomagnetic activity, I went to the global incident map, and you've been watching it and looking at it in front of you. At the print's small, I'm sorry, but basically what we're looking at is all kinds of aviation incidences that just started happening during these geomagnetic storms that we had, the X flares. And you can see the date, 9/13, 9/12, 9/11, 9/10, 9/9, 9/9. And you can see on certain days there's clusters of certain activity. You can go to this site, I'll leave you the link, and you can decipher this more clearly. I do believe there are search parameters where you can plug in specific dates. I hope that's correct. But you can see all over the world, even commercial jets were making emergency landings, crash landings, and most of it was non-eventful in terms of death. The death and carnage occurs mainly in the smaller planes. And you can imagine upon takeoff, if you lose your airspeed and you're new to your airplane, boy, that's a real dangerous thing to happen. Have your airspeed go out on a takeoff. And there's so much going on that we're looking at very extraordinary times where the poles are shifting, the solar irradiation is just going through the ceiling, and we know why. The cosmic rays in the stratosphere going through the ceiling. X-ray flux hovering 3/4 of the time around the sun in a range that's above the baseline by a factor of 10. We tell people to drink chlorophyll. Here's an article on chlorophyll, chlorophyllan. It tells you how chlorophyll has been called the green blood of plants. It's similar structure to hemoglobin. It's actually identical to some of the heme portions of your hemoglobin. The difference would be in the center of your chlorophyllin molecule is generally copper and instead of iron. So that's the only difference. It's identical to the heme and the hemoglobin. So chlorophyll, actually the chlorophyllin, the copper-based chlorophyll, is actually the lifeblood of all the mollusks in the ocean. The ink that squids and octopus secrete, that's a chlorophyllin type substance. And it says right here, chlorella, and chlorella is they're trying to, of course, sell you chlorella, but the main and powerful ingredient in chlorella is, in fact, chlorophyll. So just go get the chlorophyll. and it'll detoxify uranium, lead, and copper. And not the copper 1, but the copper 2. And each other foods rich in chlorophyll are, the leafy green vegetables, celery, parsley, bean sprouts, and wheatgrass, barley grass, and especially your spirulinas and your chlorellas. The other thing is kale, and a lot of your juicing green stuff is loaded with chlorophyll. So, in chlorophyll, its main role is to produce oxygen and consume carbon dioxide in an energy reaction. But chlorophyll is a derivative of chlorophyllin. It has potent antioxidant, but it's actually pro-oxidant, anti-carcinogenic, that's true, and anti-mutagenic effects. It helps to repair damaged tissue, much like aloe vera. So chlorophyllin in one study, it's an in vitro study, which is more like a petri dish study, but it reduced the DNA damage from ionizing radiation by 90%. So why aren't you drinking it? As natural chlorophyll becomes unstable after being removed from their protective environment, chlorophyllin is often used in many recipes and tinctures and herbal concoctions. Another study done on lab animals suggests that chlorophyllin may offer protection against gamma radiation and photosensitizing way better than the vitamin C and glutathione that our bodies that call antioxidants. Chlorophyllin may also help protect against the oxidative stress induced by full body radiation and prevent radiation-induced immune suppression, as suggested by another lab study. And this study, of course, has been corroborated and backed up by other studies. In a study, chlorophyllin increased the number of crucial immune system cells in the spleen, T cells, B cells, and macrophages during a recovery from radiation. Two of the in vitro studies found that chlorophyll and chlorophyllin are able to bind with carcinogens as well and form irreversible complexes that your body excretes, thereby detoxifying your body. In fact, very toxic people get sick taking just a little bit of chlorophyll because it causes dumping. And that's where toxins are stored in your fat, in your nerves, in your tissue, and in your bones. And you then dump that into your bloodstream, and your body doesn't really like it. But after you excrete it all out in your recovery phase, you're sitting at a much higher level of baseline health when you detox your body. The cancer-causing substance tested in the labs included polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons found in exhaust fume and tobacco smoke, heterocyclic amines found in grilled meat and other sources. I do happen to know that it also detoxifies petroleum distillates and some pesticides, including your phosphates, your glyphosates. Chlorophyllin is also useful in blocking the absorption of aflatoxin, which is produced by black molds and blue-green algae, a highly carcinogenic toxin found in moldy grains. Aflatoxin can be found there as well. So anything that's moldy, you really want to avoid to begin with. What kills mold? Colloidal silver kills most mold, but remember, in aflatoxin, it's really not the mold that's hurting you, it's the toxin. So you kill the mold, you still got the toxin that you have to deal with. Toxin is a highly carcinogenic toxin, and it was found in many of the herbicides sprayed all over Vietnam. In a human trial conducted in the province of China, the highest rate of aflatoxin-induced liver cancer in the world is there. Okay? Kaidong province in China. So the results show that chlorophyllin taken 3 times a day with meals for 4 months reduced aflatoxin in the body by 55%. Now, if you have a living organism going on inside your body and you drink chlorophyll, you feel better, but you haven't got rid of the problem, so you're still going to have to address the source of the toxicity. But we're talking mainly anti-radiation. In an attempt to find out how effective chlorophyllin is in binding to known mutagens, acrinidine orange, researchers found that the chlorophyllin is 20 times more effective than resveratrol. Resveratrol is a popular folk remedy for cancer, similar to the Isiac tea. So, we've been telling you to start drinking chlorophyll a year ago, and those that did are better off. They may not be rid of their symptoms, but they're better off than the people who didn't. So that's why we put chlorophyll in the Silver Safe. The Silver Safe is an anti-radiation cream that we are trying to invent and test, and the field testing so far has been superb, and there's been zero toxicity or skin reaction. Pectin acts as a natural ability to bind to radioactive residues and remove them from your body. Pectin is hard to digest. Modified citrus pectin should be taken in small amounts because it can just sit in your stomach if you don't make a specific enzyme. Pectin acts like a natural chelating agent, but it also been shown to attach to some cancer cells and provide increased visibility to your immune system in doing so. And that's the modified citrus pectin. It's another antitoxin. So imagine if you were taking chlorophyll with a little pectin and some clay. The clay is to compete with the radioactive particles, so your body absorbs the clay instead of the particles, because your body can only absorb so many salts, so many minerals. So the pectin also can be removed through the urine, and that's the micropectin, but mostly through the feces and through the intestine. So it's also an intestinal detox, and you see people using intestinal detoxes with clay and pectin. I'm suspicious of some of those because the dosing on some of that stuff is high, and it can actually, using pure lemon juice, can actually peel off the lining of your intestine. Apples, especially as apple skins, are high in pectin, but they're also high in complex polyphenols, which again are pro-oxidant, antioxidant slash quote unquote. It's a very complex polyphenol. Excuse me, I was going to say hydrocarbon. But the guava, plums, gooseberries, oranges, and other citrus fruits, the pectin is the white stuff on the inside of the skin and on the exterior of the fruit. Organic fruits with less pesticides or fertilizer are your best choice, although pectin powder can be taken as a supplement, and you can find organic sources around. But we put organic beet pectin and some modified organic citrus pectin in the Silver Safe. And I told you, you can take that skin cream and eat it. You really can, and it's full of nutrients. So where are the cosmic rays coming? The increase in cosmic rays. People said we were going through a supernova remnant, but we would see that coming, and we know what supernova remnants are because they're all over the place, and they've been looked at every spectroscopic light and photon range. What the Pamela experiment did was measure cosmic rays, protons, and helium and different spectrums, and because some of these are at different temps, and so they absorb and emit light at different temps. And what they found was that we weren't going through a supernova resonance, that the ratios were way off. There was too much lithium. the temperatures were too cool, and with the bulk of it being helium. So, and cool means non-ionized. It's not so hot that the atom loses all its electrons. So they have all the electrons. So in a supernova remnant, they would say it would have to be over 10 million years old. So what the Pamela experiment in no uncertain terms said is that if you want to sell to the public that we're going through a supernova, you need to change your definition of a supernova, basically is what they said. So we're going through a warm, they call it a hot helium bubble, because the temperatures are high. You're looking at 3,000 degrees Kelvin, but not so hot that the electrons leave the helium. So it's a hot gas that's a cool cloud. So yeah, confusing, yeah, it is. So here we are. As I'm talking right now, we are in solar minimum. We've been there. The solar cycle being, let's say, conservatively 11 years. Okay? And the last solar maximum started at between 2010 and 2011, but let's just go to 2011. So 11 years from 2011 would be 2022 for the next solar maximum. So, but now it's 2017, there's 6 years, so that's pretty much 1/2 of a solar cycle. So 6 years, 2017, we should be in a deep, deep, low solar minimum. But yet, we've had the largest flares of the solar cycle. Now, sometimes at the end of a solar max, you can have a big flare in your solar minimum, 1 or 2. But have you checked the sunspots totally lately? They've been trying to go up. So all of this can be explained easily through the presence of a large extrasolar body that is, I don't want to say approaching, but reaching perihelion to our solar system. Along with it comes an increase in cosmic rays, and those cosmic rays interact in the corona of the sun, producing extreme ultraviolet and X-rays. Many of those particles involved in the collision are degraded and annihilate rather quickly before they reach Earth. But in their annihilation comes more gamma and extreme ultraviolet. So what we did is we're making products to deal with this, because you have to. And it's sink or swim now. It's get busy living or get busy dying, in my opinion. And that sounds harsh, I know, but guys, it is what it is. Many people are dropping every day from the radiation affecting their heart. So drink your damn chlorophyll, guys. You gotta drink it. The price is going to be going up. There's going to be a higher demand on it. I promise you that. I give you my word, the price is going up. So go get chlorophyll. And if you're using a dropper, that's more concentrated than a bottle. So don't let the small size and the droppers throw you off. It's more highly concentrated chlorophyll. So heads up, we're not even at our bug out location. We're actually covering some major events that are happening. We can't tell you where we are and where we're headed next, but I can tell you we will be checking in.